was hearing about is real estate and how a lot of people are using real estate for retirement as part of their retirement plan, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of benefits to real estate. But one of the things that they mentioned that I'm actually going to drill into is that real estate investing is not very liquid. That's one of the things that people don't think about. It ties your money up for a long time sometimes, and it's very difficult to pull your money out instantaneously. So what I look for in an investment is not just profitability, but I look for liquidity. Liquidity, all liquidity is the simple financial theory definition of liquidity is very basic. It is the ease with which an asset can be converted into cash. If I need to turn that thing into cash and I need to do it in 20 minutes, can I do it? If I need to do it in a week, can I do it? If I have a bill coming up and I have a cash flow need, can I do it? Because one thing that people don't know about wealth is that if you look at the reasons businesses fail and the reasons bankruptcies occur, it's not typically just because of things like profitability. Most businesses don't fail due to a lack of profitability. Most businesses actually fail due to a lack of liquidity, a lack of cash flow. What does that mean? That means that you've got an invoice that you have to pay by Friday, and you're sitting on $1 million worth of assets, but you can't convert it into cash fast enough. Maybe you don't have the banker on the phone when you could borrow against it or whatever. So what I want to do is kind of lay out options income as something that I think is worthy of exploration. I think it's not just something that can benefit you. I think it's something that can benefit your kids. I believe in the intergenerational transfer of economic knowledge. I believe that we should be on the cutting edge of economic thinking. I believe that once we do that as a community, when we commit to that, I believe that we're going to be better than everyone else. I believe we're literally going to dominate the rest of the world. There won't be any other community better at wealth creation than we are. And I know that this is possible. This is we've got our Michael Jordans on the basketball court, we got our Tiger Woods on the golf course, we got our football players and all that. Well, and we got our Jay-Z's in hip hop. Well, maybe my goal is to make sure your kids are the Jay-Z, Michael Jordan of finance, right? That's what I want us to be. And who knows? I've been called the Michael Jordan or the Malcolm X of finance, so I'll accept that. I'll take that honor. I appreciate those who said that, but really, I'm not even talking about me. I'm really talking about you. What I have and what I am doesn't matter if it doesn't transfer to you and transfer to your kids, because there are more of you than there are of me. There are more of them than there are of us. So remember that it's really each one teach one. Scaling up means multiplying. It means mass producing that which you want to see in the world. So that's the goal. That's why I do Money in the Morning. We meet every single morning at 7 a.m. And I wanted to do this every single day because I wanted to help you form healthy financial habits, but form the habit myself of constantly transferring perspective and knowledge that can benefit you. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just lay this out. And again, those of you who've seen some of this before, then this is a great refresher. I every time I go through and I think about stock options and ways to use them, I come up with new perspectives. One thing I want to mention for sure is never get to the point where you think you know everything. Never get to the point where you think you have it all mastered and have it all figured out, because nobody has it all figured out. Nobody gets to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I know it. I know everything. I know it all. If anybody ever says that they know everything or that they've already have it mastered and figured out, then don't learn from that person, because that's not a person who's growing. That's a person who's grown to their peak potential. I don't want to ever be at my peak, because I don't think that my peak is something that I get to decide where that's going to happen. I think that that's God's decision. That's the universe. That's not my choice, right? So really, truth be told, as I teach stock options and talk about it, I'm studying it, thinking about it all the time, analyzing different things, testing out new theories, running by, looking at different possibilities. And I kid you not, every single year I come up with a new insight. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to make money without working. And this is the power of selling stock options. Again, those of you who are new, you'll understand it by the time we're done. Those of you who already know this, this is a great refresher for you. And so let me just lay this out for you. So one question I'm going to ask, and this is, and also just so you know, I'm going to give this same talk today at the Power Networking Conference. So I figured, hey, you know what? If I'm going to talk to a room full of, let's say 40, 50, 80 people, whatever number there is, in Money in the Morning, we have 1,000 people that come in. Why not talk to 1,000 people in addition to the people that are in the room? So you don't have to be in the room, because you guys are part of the Money in the Morning family. You guys get a chance to see what I'm going to talk about tonight. All right. So basically, this is the goal. This is why we're here. One of the things I've noticed is that there are Many ways to make money. There are many ways to generate income and generate streams of income. We've talked about that a lot. And the best types of streams are passive, consistent streams of income, streams that don't require you to do any work. Well, one thing that people don't explore enough is that you can generate lots of money off of your stock that you own, similar to having an apple tree in your backyard. A person who has a healthy apple tree in their backyard doesn't go hungry because they can always go outside and get an apple. So another goal is to level up our lives. The more economically intelligent we are, and the more that we know, the better our lives are going to be. So it's not just about having a strong bank account; it's about having a wealthy life. That's the goal. When it comes to investing, I've noticed as we do our surveys, we do numerous studies. The Black Business School isn't just a school; we are a think tank. We have the best experts in a lot of different areas. We work with attorneys, we work with psychologists. We have the first ever Black financial therapy department. We're incredibly innovative in terms of solving one problem, and the one question we're solving is the racial wealth gap. How do we reverse the racial wealth gap? How do we remove the negative gap and turn it into a positive gap where we're running away from everybody else? So one thing that we found is that when our therapists and our psychologists are studying the mindsets of people in our community, we find that risk is really a big deal. And a lot of the risk comes from trauma, just the ways we've dealt with trauma. Trauma is something that's heavy in our community. It doesn't get talked about enough because people don't really understand how deep it is. It's not just in your head. It also is in your bloodstream. It is in your spirit and energy. It's in your relationships. It's going to definitely show up in your finances. So I said, okay, how do we look for ways to invest that are affordable and also impactful and safe, right? So how do we actually change our lives, not just pretend to change our lives, do things that everyone can afford that wants to do it, and also ways that are actually safe. So these are some of the methods that we've laid out and put together. And then lastly, leaving a generational legacy is extremely important because most of the racism and the other problems that we talk about, they link back to economics. Most of the areas where we don't feel free come down to the fact that somebody else is controlling our lives, or we have to get up and go to work for somebody we don't like, or somebody who doesn't like us, or we have to do things that we don't want to do. So the best way to prepare for freedom is to prepare for freedom. The best way to give your kids freedom is to prepare in advance. Leaving generational legacies is critical. It's not just an added bonus. It's not just something you do if you're doing a good job. It's something you do as a requirement. It's almost like when Chris Rock, used to talk about his friends that would say, "I ain't never been to jail," and he was like, "You're not supposed to go to jail," or "I take care of my kids." You're supposed to take care of your kids. You're taking things that should be that are really par for the course, and we're acting like we hit a birdie or an eagle. We're acting like we should get extra cookies for doing the very basics. So leaving a generational legacy, making sure that the person after you is not behind you or is not at the same place you are. That should be just a general principle that all of us apply no matter what. So here's some lies that I was told as a kid, and let me know in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat if you were told any of these same lies. One, everybody has to get a job. Did anybody else grow up with that lie, that myth from hell that has destroyed so many millions of lives? Anybody else grow up with that? That everybody, if you don't work, you don't eat. Yeah, I used to hear that all the time. That everybody has to get a job. Well, a lot of us don't know that there are families where they don't even talk about jobs. They talk about acquiring assets. They talk about raising capital. They talk about hiring people. They don't talk about getting a job. So everybody does not have to get a job, but that's a myth that we're told. If you don't work, you don't eat. That's another one I heard all the time when I was 11 years old and I wanted to have money in my pocket. I was told, "You better get a job, boy, better get a job." And that also you have to have money in order to make money. And a lot of you were maybe told that you have to be very wealthy in order to have income or to increase your income. And a lot of these myths are untrue. You don't need money in order to make money. Everyone has capital. Capital is deeper than just money. Money is a type of capital, but there are other types of capital that you have. If you went to school for a while, you have intellectual capital. By being a human being that can work, that's healthy, you have human capital. You had your free time is a source and a form of capital. Your relationships are a form of capital. If you're young and healthy versus old and tired, like that young person has a type of capital they can use. So capital is deeper than just money. So don't think you have to have money to make money. What you need capital to make money. You need capital, not money, capital. All right. So what do you want to avoid? Here are a few things that I think we can eliminate, and this is consider me to be like a financial doctor, and I'm diagnosing the patient and offering a medication that hopefully can help you. I see a lot of pain in generational curses. Let me know if you just sometimes get sad when you think about things that happened to you that shouldn't have happened. I get sad. I know that feeling. Let me know if you have ever looked at a situation and said, this could be so much better if so and so just did what they were supposed to do, or if this person had not done this horrible thing to me, or why would somebody who loves me treat me like this. A lot of us go through that. There's a lot of pain and generational curses, and I want that pain to go away. And it's tough, but I start with saying, okay, well, what about me as the head of a household? I have a lot of power. I can, if I want to distribute pain to the children, I could. If I want to distribute something that uplifts them, I can. And the key is consciousness. Every single morning we meet for financial consciousness training. So consciousness is just awareness. It's understanding what you're doing and the impact of what you're doing. In economics, they refer to these partly as ripple effects. Ripple effects is basically how, the way I treat my kids is going to affect how they treat other people, which is going to affect how they treat their kids. So that there's a big ripple effect in terms of what we do with each other and how that affects other people. So I know that, for example, when I talk to you, let's say there are 1,000 of you listening now. I don't think of that as 1,000 people. I see 40,000 people. And the reason I see 40,000 people is because I know for a fact that if I throw the stone hard enough, if I leave enough of an impact, if I push as hard as I can to share really powerful ideas, I know you're not going to keep it to yourself. You're going to internalize. You're going to carry. You're going to share it with somebody else. You're going to share it with your kids. A lot of you are already doing that. I met a black man the other day who told me that his 17-year-old son. He said, "My son's been listening to you since he was 2." And I said, "Oh, your son is going to be an economic genius," because I didn't even meet my first college professor until I was 19, actually 19 years old. That's when I met my first college professor, black, white, or otherwise. So the fact that your son got exposed to college level ideas at the age of 2 means that he's gonna be a high flyer when it comes to economics. We also want to get rid of the trauma of financial insecurity. There's a lot of pain in being financially insecure. You feel scared, you feel nervous, worried about the future. All that worry is very common. A lot of our families feel that, and I think we want to avoid that. Also, there's a lot of stress of working for other people. I think that that's something that we should try to eliminate if we can. And remember, it's not a matter of saying quit your job. It's not a matter of saying that no one should ever work for anyone ever, or that having a job makes you a sucker. I would never say that. I would never disrespect a hardworking person, no matter what they do. What I'm saying is that there's a difference between working for people because you want to versus working for people because you have to. And I've said that in class before, and I want to reiterate that it's really about options. I just want you to have options. And so even when I start talking about stock options, I want you to just know that you already know what options are. You know what it means to have options and not have options. You know what it means to be free to do what you want versus not do to do what somebody else is telling you to do. You know what that feels like. So stock options are just an extension of that. So if you want a quick overview of who I am, that's me at my second birthday party. I don't remember a thing, but I heard it was a blast, and that's my grandma Felicia holding me. My grandma Felicia. Oh man, I always get emotional when I see that lady because she died in 2012. But you know how it is. Grandmas don't never leave your soul. They just sit there inside your spirit. And so anyway, my grandma. She taught me financial literacy when I was 5 years old. She got me savings bonds and all that. And yeah, so she's a big part of my life every single day. And our Panther in the Black Business School, that's the Panther's name is Felicia, and the Panther has been infused with my grandma's spirit. So whenever I put that Panther on the screen somewhere, that's me knowing that my grandma's with me everywhere we go and every step of the way. All right, so. My mother was 17 when I was born. She was a single mom, like a lot of us have single mothers. I was a product of a lot of generational economic curses. I doubt most of you were poorer than we were. We had like nothing. It's hard to go below nothing. I was a former slave. I used to have a six-figure dream job when I was at Syracuse University. I made $115,000 a year, and I was living the dream. I was a 30-year-old black man that making six figures. I mean, come on now, that's a great life. But then I found out that my dream job was not really a dream. I failed most of my classes when I was a kid in school. I didn't start doing well until I got to college. So that's why I tell you, don't give up on your sons. because some of you got really smart sons who just have behavioral challenges, who just need to be put in spaces where they are loved and inspired. If they're put in spaces where they're loved and inspired, you're going to watch that little kid just bloom like a flower. He's going to just fly like an eagle. He's going to, he'll stop on that low vibrational behavior, and you'll start to see him set goals, have dreams, work hard, all these things. So find that space that's going to really love him and inspire him and give him something that he wants. And I guarantee you're going to see a change of behavior. Also, I struggled in school because I didn't see the purpose of it, and I did not feel loved going into that building every day. I was a single father at the age of 18. I discovered this thing in high school. I used to work at this job at Taco Bell, and I discovered this thing in high school called sex, and I liked it. And I also found out that there's another part of sex that's called pregnancy. And so here I was, 18 years old, having a baby, freshman year of college, scared, just scared to death. And my parents, and it's crazy, like how all happened at a Taco Bell. So stay away from tacos. Tacos will get you pregnant. And so, anyway, so I called my parents right before my daughter was born, and I was like, "Yeah, I got a baby coming," and they were like, "Oh, okay." And and it's funny how much your life can change during an episode of the Cosby Show. So that was my story, in terms of the early stage, and also I learned about racism at an early age. I grew up in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, where Muhammad Ali was born, and the same racism that led him to leave Kentucky when he was 20 was the exact same racism that made me want to leave when I was 18. I didn't want to come back for a very long time. And to this day, I've become very obsessed with Black wealth, Black family, and the Black community. I really believe that wealth is the solution to a lot of our problems. I think that it transcends everything else. I think that transcends whether you're a Democrat or Republican, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're a feminist or non-feminist, male or female. I think that wealth, if we work on the wealth issue and then work on the family issue, then we can fix the community issue. And I don't believe in big, gigantic, supersized leaders getting us there. I believe that it's going to be family by family, brick by brick. I believe you are your own greatest leader, and that's something that I believe in to my core. And so things like personal power, commitment, Black love, and responsibility, I think can go a very long way in helping us to achieve our goals. All right, so who did I choose to become over time? Just in case you're new, very quick run through of the credentials, so you know that I do know this topic very well. In college, I was a Wall Street Journal outstanding graduating senior. I had a triple major in finance, economics, and business management. And then I went on and got a master's in mathematical statistics. I completed the degree requirements for a master's in math and a master's in statistics, and I taught mathematics at the University of Kentucky. I got a PhD in finance from the Ohio State University, where I was the only African American on the planet to get that degree in the year 2002. And also, I taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, the Ohio State University in China. I taught in Europe. I taught all around the world. Also, I wrote a bunch of books like The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. That's my most recent book, Financial Lovemaking. I wrote that when I was on the faculty of Syracuse. I've been on a lot of media outlets, too many to count. We have a lot of students in the Black Business School. My goal when I left Syracuse was to create a Black-owned institution that could do things that HBCUs have trouble doing, that would also be financially independent, that would be on the cutting edge in terms of being a premier think tank for issues that relate to Black wealth and Black economics. And we've done that. We have 156,000 students in the Black Business School now. We're growing every single year, and we're able to service lots of people because we've learned to develop a business model that scales quite directly. All right. Also, in just as an add-on, we got like over 500 million views on YouTube and other social media. We're probably approaching 1 billion now. I'm not sure. I don't count anymore. All right. So my biggest investment ever, some of you saw this, was my lovely wife, Alicia. And I remember when I met her, I saw her across a crowded room, literally. And that night in my journal, I wrote, "Today I met the most beautiful woman in the world." And what was so crazy was when I met my wife, she gave me this big beautiful smile. Like a smile goes a long way, ladies. Like you smile at a man, that lets him know, like, okay, I can feel safe, So she gave me this big beautiful smile, and we started talking. And I said, she said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Louisville, Kentucky." She said, "Oh, I grew up in Louisville." And so she's lived there from like age 5 to age 10. And then I said, "Where?" I said, "I bet you're from Gary." And she said, "How did you know?" And I said, and I just honestly, I just guessed because most of the black kids at Indiana University were from Gary, Indiana. And that, but so I got lucky. But then I said, "What is your name?" And she said, "Felicia Taylor." And I said, "Wow, my grandmother's name is," sorry. She said her name is Alicia Taylor. I'm sorry. And I said, "My grandmother's name is Felicia Taylor." So her name literally rhymed with my grandmother's. And what's crazy too is that if you were to see my mother and my wife standing next to each other, you would swear that my mother was her mother. Even my wife's mother says, Boyce's mother looks more like you than I do. So I felt like it was really meant to be. And I did propose to her in front of everybody, and it was embarrassing. It was kind of weird, but I'm glad I did it because I believe that Black women should be honored and loved. And I think Black love is essential to us developing as a community. So I felt as a man that it was very important for me to display what love looks like for the men that are still trying to figure that out, and to say that I think that loving a woman and doing your best for her is the most masculine thing you could ever do. So here's the other side bonus that I did not expect. My wife is a damn good therapist. She's a full professor of social work. Very few people, only 1% of the population become PhDs. And out of that 1%, maybe 10% of them become full professors. So she's literally in the top 10% of the top 1% of our society. She entered her PhD program with five other black students. She's the only one that made it. They literally, the racism was very real. They literally forced the other four out. And she just did not give up. She did not quit. So to this day, she's a person that runs marathons. She writes books, and she helped me to create that Black financial therapy department in the Black Business School. It's the first one ever. So we were able to form this really awesome team where we literally in our house created an academic department where I said I'd like to take the most cutting edge concepts as it relates to therapy and the subconscious mind and mental health challenges, and figure out how that blends into what we're doing with our wealth and our economics. Like right now, in fact, she's literally studying to recertify herself in trauma. She already has a certification. You got to renew the certification. And what we're finding it very deeply, and this is very important for us to understand, is that trauma is such a factor in what we do with our wealth. It's amazing. So what we're doing in the Black Business School is not just, we're not trying to be as good as Harvard. When it comes to Black wealth, we're better than Harvard. We're not trying to be as good as an HBCU. When it comes to Black wealth, we are better than an HBCU. You can go check textbooks. You can check any university in America. You will not find a Black financial therapy department where they literally work with the best therapists they can find to drill into the psychological barriers that keep Black wealth from growing. So this to me was when I married my soulmate. In fact, she's not just my soulmate; she is my soul. When I married my soulmate, that was something I think was meant to happen, because now we're able to really develop all these amazing insights into what's going on with Black wealth and Black economics. So just a side note there. So that was a great investment. And so over time, another little benefit was that she helped me not be so fat anymore. There's me on the left, and I was trying to lose weight, but I didn't know how to really take action. You know how you know what you're supposed to do, but you just don't do it. And so what she did was she actually helped me keep my promises to myself, and she got me running. We ran a marathon together, stuff like that. And next thing you know, I was slim, trim, and sugar free. And a lot of y'all saw that transition. And so I can tell you, pick somebody that's going to help you level up. That really made a difference. And also another thing about this to remember too is that investing is a lot more than just what you do with money. By investing time and love and everything else into the marriage, it benefited me in a lot of ways, right? So health is wealth. If you don't believe that health is wealth, then just ask any old sick person, would they rather have their wealth or have their health back? And I guarantee you they would rather have their health. So anyway, so that's been that journey right there. And also it's a great note, I would say, in terms of really getting in spaces where you're going to be challenged to take action, getting into spaces where you're going to be encouraged to be your best self, getting in spaces where you're going to be encouraged to make the investment, to make the move, to learn the skill, to grow. That's what's going to make you the person that you know you can be. So one thing I'd like to ask you your permission on, give me a yes in the chat. If I rock it out and I help you level up your learning, is it okay if I spend 10 minutes making an offer for you to join one of our special programs in the Black Business School? If you can give me a quick yes in the chat. I don't like to just sort of pop stuff in there. I am going to invite you to be a part of a program that's been very successful, that everyone loves. But I'd like to ask for permission so you guys don't think, oh, he's just trying to, dupe us or anything like that. So just give me a quick yes if that's okay. All right. Okay, so I see the yeses. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that permission. Okay, so let's hop into this and let's learn something. All right, so Here's the thing. When it comes to investing, basically you're either the casino or you're the gambler, right? You're either the gambler or you are the house, right? And generally speaking, this is a big part of how financial markets work, particularly stock options. Either you're the casino or you're the house, and who always wins between the casino and between the gambler and the house? Who always wins? The house always wins. The house always wins. And one thing that I can tell you is that there are millions of people that are buying stock options. They call these out of the money call options. And all the research that I remember reading in graduate school pretty much said the same thing. It said that a consistent investment in out of the money call options is usually going to lead to a financial loss. So and now here's the thing. As these people are losing money, when one side is losing money, somebody's making money. When one side is giving away their income, somebody else is getting rich. Just like when you pay your rent consistently, your pockets are depleting, but the landlord's pockets are growing. When you are spending money on your car note every month, your wealth is going down while their wealth is going up, of the people who own the car dealership. So my thought was when I saw everyone become interested in stock options and everything else was not, how do I do what everybody else is doing? A lot of investing is built on contrarian behavior. My thought was, well, how do I do the opposite of what everybody else is doing? I don't want to be the buyer of these options. I want to figure out who's selling these things and getting all this money. So today, what I'm going to show you is a few little basic ideas. Why selling stock options pretty much saved my real estate portfolio. Also, I'm going to show you why selling stock options is much easier than running a business. I'm a big advocate for business, especially Black-owned business, but this is much easier, actually, and it's a better way to make money. Also, why selling stock options is better than simply owning shares of stock. So for many years, I've always been a big advocate for real estate, which I still am. I've always been a big advocate for owning a business, which I still am. I've been a big advocate for owning stock, which I still am. Stock options really sweeten everything. They sweeten they're either a great addition or even a great substitute, depending on what position you want to take. So let's talk about what a stock option is. Some of you know what it is, some of you don't. If you already know this, don't worry. Remember, going over the basics can never hurt you, and it also makes you sharper because every time I go over the basics, I learn something new. All right. So what is a stock option? An option is basically this. It is the right to do something, but not the obligation. So if I give you the option of getting in your car and driving to the grocery store, that doesn't mean you have to do it. It just means you could if you wanted to. And if I took away that option, then you might be upset about that because maybe you want to go to the grocery store, or at least you want to have the ability to go if you get hungry. So an option is just the right to do something, but you don't have to do it. Okay. So I have, for example, with stock options, you might say, I have the right to buy your stock between now and next Friday. Hollywood buys options all the time. If somebody has a great script and they're not sure if they want to buy it, then they'll say, well, we don't want your script, but we will buy an option on your script. Okay. So that means we might buy it, but we may not. We're gonna give you money just so you can hold a place for us in case we decide we want to come in and buy this. The thing about options, another fundamental rule of options is that every option has a buyer and it has a seller. Just like every child has a mommy and a daddy, right? You have to have both in order for something to happen. When they tell you that real estate prices went up, that means that there were transactions between a buyer and a seller at a certain price. And they would say, okay, that price was lower than what it used to be. They call that the equilibrium price in economics. So every option has to have a buyer and has to have a seller. Also, the market is massive. There are about 40 million options contracts traded per day. And I consider it to be almost like a type of seasoning for your stock portfolio. It's almost like when you eat food that's really bland and really basic and boring and not very good, and you put maybe a little salt or a little pepper, or a little seasoning on it, and it tastes so much better. Options are like the financial seasoning for your portfolio. So basically, the research shows that those who buy options don't typically profit on average. They might profit every now and then. Just like if I go to Vegas, sure, I might walk away a winner, but most people that go to Vegas don't win. Okay. So basically options don't typically make money. And also when people buy them, one person that's buying the option is looking for risk. They might call this risk-seeking behavior, where you say, I'm gonna buy this thing and hope that it goes up in value. That's speculation. That's a type of investing, but it can be very risky depending on the situation. The other person is looking to get rid of risk. The person who sells you the option is saying, look, I just want to get guaranteed income. I want money in my pocket. just in case something bad happens. So if I am a writer of a Hollywood script and I sell an option on my script, that's great for me because I receive income to hold your spot. Like this is guaranteed income. I get to keep this money no matter what. And then if you decide to buy because the value of it goes up for whatever reason, then that's even better for me. But at the very least, if you don't show up, if you don't come back, then I'm still going to have that initial whatever amount of money is that you gave me, just to know that I didn't totally like lose everything. Do you understand? Whereas if I don't sell the option, then I'm just kind of hoping that good things happen. So if you so basically, what I want is I don't want you necessarily taking more risk all the time. I want you to be able to sell the risk. During the California gold rush, there were millions of people who went out to speculate and try to find gold. 99% of those people never found anything. 99% of those people just lost a bunch of money. The people who made the money during the California gold rush were not typically the speculators for the gold. It was the people who sold picks and shovels to the people that wanted to speculate on the gold. It was the people who sold lunch to the gold miners. Because no matter whether you find gold or don't find gold, you got to eat lunch. You understand? You have to eat. Levi's jeans, a whole major corporation, was built basically selling these rugged blue jeans that you could wear while you were mining for gold. They're like, look, we don't want to mine with you, but we'll give you some pants you can wear that will be durable while you're out there doing your best. So so this is a side of the market people don't talk about because it's not as exciting, but it's great money. It's great income. So I don't buy a lot of stock options. Every now and then I might just for fun, but for the most part, that's not really where I make my money. I make my money by selling them. So so moving on. So when you sell an option, what are you selling exactly? Let's look at an example so you can kind of see it in real life. All right. So let's say that the price of a stock is $82 or sorry, $80. And it's a stock that I own. I own this stock. It's $80 a share. The price could go up, it could go down, nobody knows. Now, I could just sit there and hold it and hope that it goes up, right? And if it goes up, great. If it doesn't, then I lose, right? Or I could do this. So let's say that someone believes the price is going to rise above $82 that week, and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. Well, what they can do is they can buy an option from me. They could give me money placing a bet basically. The bet the price 82 is what they call the strike price. So they would give me money, and if the stock goes above 82, then you get to buy my stock for $82. And the reason you can buy it for 82 is because we made an agreement before the fact that if this thing goes up past $82, you're going to buy my stock for 82. I don't mind. I'm happy for you because I get to sell my stock for 82 and before it was only worth 80, so I made money and you make money. Good for you. But then on top of that, I got this amount of money that you paid me in advance before the game began that I was going to keep whether you won the game or not. So it's like when you go to Vegas and you give them a bunch of money and they put your money on black and they say thank you for your bet and then you win, they're happy for you. But remember, they made money whether you won or not, right? So let's keep going here. So if it doesn't go above 82, you get to keep that premium. That's what it means to sell a stock option. You're basically selling someone the right to purchase your stock at a price that you two agree on. Now, so basically, they're the gambler, you're the house. They're giving you money, like a casino, hoping that the stock will go up, and you're accepting the money and saying, "Hey, good luck to you. If it goes up, then I'll sell it to you for that price." Now, here's the deal: in this particular transaction, in my view, the house always wins. If the price goes up, you get to keep the money. If the price goes down, you get to keep the money. And if the only difference is if it goes up, then you both make money in addition to the money that you already made. But if it goes down, he loses everything. You still have the money that he paid you. Okay. So so here's an example of when my wife and I made a dig into real estate. This is how we found out that we don't enjoy real estate very much. Real estate's a great investment. We bought this house in Atlanta, Smyrna, Georgia, to be precise, and we loved the house. It was a beautiful house, and we bought it because we had these big dreams of doing an Airbnb type situation. And it didn't take us long to find out that that there was like a 2-year waiting list to be able to Airbnb on this property. And even then, I don't even know how I would have gone through the process of being able to profitably manage it and deal with all that because I'm very busy and I don't like to do that type of stuff. And then, so what we did was we took a long-term tenant. We found somebody to rent the place from us, and it's a nice lady, and we were, and it was, it's not, it's cool, you know, it's someone they're basically paying the mortgage on the house, right? So So then we had something happen. This happened. I got a picture sent to me where I think that because I'd forgotten to pay the water bill or the electricity bill or one of the bills, the whole bathroom had molded up. And it was going to cost maybe $6,000 or $7,000 to redo the whole bathroom. Somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000 is what I paid to redo the whole bathroom. And I remember that was kind of the first incident of many that just let me know that being a landlord wasn't really for me because I don't enjoy evicting people. I don't enjoy chasing people down to make sure that they pay the rent. I don't even enjoy dealing with the property managers because the property management companies are okay, but they take a bunch of money and they don't do as much as you think that they're going to do. And also the profitability just isn't uh what you think it might be. I'm not saying don't do it. Some of you are deep in real estate, and if you are, then I think there are many benefits to it. I'm not here to dispute that. But what I am saying is that I found that I had an epiphany. I realized that selling stock options is a much easier way of making money than real estate. I could put the same amount of money into some stock and generate the income from the options and do that without doing any work, without keeping up with any tenants, without worrying about whether or not somebody paid their rent that month. The stock market's always going to pay them rent. I could get on my phone right now and in 30 seconds generate several $1,000s in income by selling options on stocks that I already own. I could do that while I'm talking to you. I could multitask and do that in 30 seconds on my phone right now. That's very different from dealing with a tenant and a property manager and wait until the end of the month and all these other things. And then all the paperwork that's required to even purchase property or to relinquish property when you're done. So my annual ROI on real estate, I'm going to guess maybe it's about 10% per year, not including all the busted toilets and everything else. My annual ROI, if I take the income divided by the cost of the capital base, the amount of money I had to invest, I'm going to guess around 60%. That's a pretty conservative estimate. That's very easy to generate significant amounts of income if you own enough stock from doing that. Though some of you are already doing that. If you're already doing that, say something in the chat, like mention it. Just, that way I, people know I'm not making this stuff up. Say something in the chat. Tell your story. Talk about it because I know your stories. I've talked to a lot of you, and this to me I think is a pretty awesome way to elevate and level up your family situation because in my view, when I've looked at the real estate deals I've seen and been exposed to and had brought to me, I have people bring deals to me all the time. It just is a much better ROI and it's a much easier ROI. Okay. So here's the other thing. When you talk about starting businesses, I believe deeply in starting Black-owned businesses. To me, a Black-owned business is a business owned by a Black person. That's what it has to be. It doesn't have anything to do with who's buying your product or where the businesses are. So if you own shares of Disney, then the shares that you own, to me, is a Black-owned business because you're a shareholder and you own some percentage of Disney. That's a Black-owned business in the sense that the owner of those shares is a Black person. You control those shares. You get to decide what happens with those resources. But in general, when you talk about Black-owned businesses, there is a lot of opportunity there, a lot of possibility there, and a lot of necessity there. I do believe deeply in that. One thing I do also believe, though, is that when you talk about the freedom of owning a business, you're not a slave anymore, and also money's great. I've made money. A lot of us have made money. The problem when you start a business, though, is two things. One, the Black-owned businesses have about an 80% failure rate. So if you take all your life savings and you pour it into that business and you're hoping for the best, you have, in many cases, a 50 to 80% chance that the business isn't going to succeed, that all that money is going to kind of disappear and it's going to kind of fall to pieces. And also, I found that running a business had me working nonstop. I enjoyed it when I was about 32. I did not enjoy it when I was 52. I did not even really enjoy it when I was 42. And I definitely didn't enjoy working on things if I was just doing it for the money. Working just for the money is just not very fulfilling. It depends on how you're built, but I wasn't as inspired working for just money as I was inspired to do things that I'm really passionate about, things I really care about. Okay. So all this nonstop work led to another epiphany that passive income is just better than active income. And it got me to really rethink what that even looks like, what that really means. And also this culture of working until we die that we kind of have in our society. I know people that are attorneys that make $400 or $500 an hour and they have an endless supply of clients. And that's a dream, right? Think about this. You got an endless supply of people willing to pay you $500 per hour for your time. But then real life starts lifing. The real world starts hitting you where you start realizing that if I'm working all the time, my health is deteriorating because I can't even go to the gym. I'm eating cheeseburgers in between meetings. Um, my spouse is tired of me because I'm never available. I can't invest in a relationship if I'm investing all my time into my business. My kids don't know me. My quality of life has declined significantly because I've overinvested in this business or this job that I have. So working is really a hard way to make money long term. It's not that it's not valuable. Hard work is very important. It also it's much easier when you're younger, right? But as you get older, when you're in your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s, you don't want to do that as much anymore. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'm tired of working all the time. So passive income is, in my view, much more enjoyable than active income. I think that working should be something you do to work your way to the point where you don't have to work anymore, where your money can literally work for you. So I own and then here's the third area that I was thinking about is I own a lot of stock in companies. I own hundreds of shares in hundreds of companies or thousands of shares in hundreds of different companies. A lot of my students do as well. Stock ownership is really valuable and beneficial. Stock ownership is the number one key to wealth building. I do believe that. However, the thing about the stock market is that you have to wait until the price of your asset goes up. And sometimes the stock market doesn't do what you want it to do. It doesn't do what you expect it to do. This year has been a great year, but if you remember, 2022 was not such a great year. And when the market goes down, you kind of get slammed. You have to watch your wealth drop as these assets drop in value, and that can be a little bit tough to stomach. So when that happens, when you can't get your stream of income from your stock, you have to find another stream of cash flow to maybe fund other investments or to help you pay bills while you wait for your stock to go up. So the stock market has been really good for us. For the last 15 years, the market has been insane. This isn't even a recent graph, but typically, if you look at the stock market over any, say, 15-year horizon, you're going to see green, 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 up, up, up. This is why I don't understand why there are people who avoid the stock market because that's where most of the money's at. But then you have those tough years like 2022, where you've got a big decline in market prices and market valuations, and you're just sort of waiting for things to turn around. Well, the options are great because it led to that, at least this third epiphany, that a bird in the hand is better than 10 birds in the bush. And effectively, when you have stock and you're looking for that income driver, you don't have to actually sell your stock in order to generate income. One of the biggest questions I get all the time is when should I sell my stock? And really the best answer is you should never sell it if you don't have to. You sell it because you have to. You sell it because you found a better investment. You sell it because you have to diversify, but you don't sell it just because like, okay, my time here with this stock is done. I'm gonna go and just do something. I'm gonna go spend my money now. No, you really shouldn't ever have to sell it. And one thing people don't know is that you can actually generate income from your stock without selling them. And so you don't have to wait for the price to go up in order to do this either. If you look at a year like 2022, where markets were down, there were people selling options, still generating consistent income because what they were doing was they were selling casino tickets to people who thought the market was going to go up. So people would show up and say, I think the stock is going to go up. Here, let me give you money so I can buy this option from you. They would collect the money, and then the market didn't go up, and then they were able to collect this money every single week, every single month, etc. So here's the thing. When you talk about investing, one other thing is you don't have to be greedy to invest. You can let others take the risk. So selling stock options is, in my view, a very conservative approach to investing in the sense that you're not you're not trying to necessarily get these gigantic scores all the time. You're creating a space where with this particular portfolio, you can get consistent income that allows you to pay your bills and to be financially secure and to do things you want to do. I've seen people quit their jobs. I've seen people replace their bills, all kinds of stuff. Okay. Now, so here's my process. I sell my stock options every single Monday. First thing I do is I find assets that can generate income. Not every stock is good for selling options on. There's some variables you can look at that can help you find which ones are best for selling options on. I measure the ROI on each of the stocks that I'm looking at. At that point, I check the risk levels of the assets to make sure there are no red flags with the investment. And then after that, I sell the options and get the income put into my bank account that I could then send over to my wife to pay the credit card bill. And because y'all husbands know that's what we do, we make a bunch of money and we give it to our wives, and then you collect the weekly income, and you can use some of it for spending, some of it for saving, put some of it for retirement, some of it to acquire more stock, whatever it is you want to do. Now, and all this is done from my phone. Like literally, I will lay in the bed, I roll over and turn away from my beautiful wife, and I say, "Hey, babe, I gotta get my money. I gotta get my paycheck really quick." And I go and I sell my options on Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. when the market opens, and by 9:40, I'm done. Okay, and this is a pretty cool way to make income. And so this year, or actually this is last year, we sometimes you have stocks that do really well. When you're participating in the market, you can be there when great things happen. This was a pharmaceutical company. I don't have the name of the company in front of me, but it was a company that a lot of our students were excited about because the stock price literally went up $210 from I think it was trading at $70 or $80, and it went up to $290 or something overnight because basically the announcement came, a big announcement came in with the company, but it was one that we had spotted before the fact, and we sold options on it, and then I kept a few shares and didn't sell options, and it made a lot of money really fast. One couple in the group actually made I want to I could have sworn they told me they made about $500,000 from this or something, and that's because they saw this and they went ahead and invested, and it really made a life-changing difference for them. And so sometimes just being there when the right opportunity emerges makes a big difference. And so let me ask you this. So now that we've talked about stock options and what it can do, I mentioned earlier that if I nailed it, you'd let me kind of pitch a special offer to you to join our program. Give me a yes if it's okay if I go ahead and pitch this to you and let you know how to join our Prime group to decide if you want to sell stock options. How did I do? I mean, do you feel like this is something that makes a difference for you? Is it something that you feel that is worth exploring? Do you feel like it's something that is worthy of consideration? And I know some of you are already doing this, and so if you're enjoying the experience, if it's been beneficial to you, then please feel free to add a yes as well. And the reason I want to do it this way is because I really, really think this is something worth looking into for you. And so let me not spend too much of your time and tell you about the Prime program. Now, Prime stands for Passive Recurring Income Machine. Okay, that's what Prime stands for. And it's a powerful coaching program in the Black Business School where we generate safe passive income. We do stock market research, things like that, in order to generate income. And so there's various ways to generate income in the market. Different assets generate different possibilities. With the students, I talk to them about exactly what I'm doing, what I'm invested in. We have different tiers. We have the main class, then we have VIP sessions with small groups, and then a few students do one-on-ones with me. And I literally just open up my portfolio and say, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm investing. So it's not investing advice. It's really me explaining what I see, and you can ask me about what you're doing and what you're working on, what you're thinking. Okay. And so, so also you can understand time horizons for investment, risk management, some things called the Dr. Boyce method, a particular method of either stock selection or options investment that I share with the students. And also we talk about leverage. Leverage is a very powerful tool for investing that doesn't get discussed enough, but it's something that we cover in class. Now, here's a real life example of what kind of money a person could make literally on their phone right now. Like this is an options move that you can make right now. If you have the capital base to do this, you can make this money right now. So this is different from starting a business where you might make money 5 years from now, or you might make money 3 months from now. This is something you could do today. Okay. So let's look at a stock like Coinbase. Coinbase, the current price is $221.43 at the time of this, at the time I put these slides together. So let's say that you sell an option and you basically someone pays you money in order to make a bet with you, and you don't ever meet this person. You don't see these people. You just put your order in and it goes through. You don't know who you're making this deal with. So the strike price, let's say there's a strike price of 235. Now, what is a strike price? Strike price is basically the price at which you're agreeing to sell your stock if it goes past that price. So they're paying you money for the right to buy your stock if it hits 235. You can pick different strike prices based on what you'd like to do. Okay. So the price is 221. You don't know if it's going to go up or go down, but you can generate income right now by selling an option on the strike price. And this would be a call. And let's say that I own 100 shares of Coinbase. Okay. 100 shares of Coinbase will cost me $22,143. On Robinhood Gold, I can get 50% leverage on this. That means they'll put up half the money for certain stocks. With this stock, they'll put up the $11,000 of that investment. They charge you interest on the money that they loan you, so you don't have to put up all of it on your own. A lot of people are not sure about debt and leverage, but let me just tell you, leverage is how a lot of people get wealthy. Elon Musk became the richest man on earth by using leverage. So leverage, if it's used carefully, can be extremely beneficial, but if it's not used responsibly, it could be bad. So you really want to be careful. All investing always involves risk. So so that's your position. So your question would be, how much money can I make from this? So right now, or at least based on what I saw in the market, if I sold a 1 month call option, meaning that the stock has 1 month to get to 235, if within this month, if it goes past 235, or at the end of the month, if it's past 235, they're going to buy my stock from me for $235. I would get $11.65 per share for that option. Okay, they're going to pay me $11.65, and the number of shares I have determines how much money they put into my bank account. In this example, I have 100 shares. So that means that I'm going to receive $11.65 times 100, $1,165. That's how much money they're going to put into my account. That's money I could pull out right now, send it to my wife, pay a bill with it, whatever it is I want to do, pay the rent, car note, whatever. That's real money. Okay, so if the stock, now let's say the stock rises above 235, well, then I get paid again. I get paid even more because they're going to come buy my stock for 235. Now, mind you, my stock is only worth 221 now. So that means that we both won. It's almost like taking a business partner. They've paid money for a piece of the upside to my investment. So at the end of the month, if the stock goes up to 235, then in addition to the 1165 that I already got, I keep that money no matter what. That's my money, period. I don't ever have to get that back. I also made 235 minus 221.43 times 100 shares. And that gives me a total of $2,522. Or if you look at that in terms of ROI, that is 2,500, or that's 22.7% in 1 month. That's a really massive ROI for 1 month. I dare you to go find a real estate deal that pays you 22% in a month. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Now, let's look at another example. Let's compare it to real estate. This is why I'm so much more of a fan of options than I am of just direct real estate investing. I don't hate real estate. I have a lot of friends in real estate. I respect it. I think real property is extremely important and valuable as a part of your portfolio. But in terms of income generation, I think this method is better. So the median price of a home right now is $420,800, right? So let's say that instead of buying a home for $420,000, I just buy 2,000 shares of Coinbase stock. So in this example, instead of owning just 100 shares, I have 2,000 shares. How much would those 2,000 shares cost? That total value would be $442,860, a little bit more than the price of not an extraordinary house, not a massive multi-family property, not an apartment building, just a regular, simple, measly, regular little house. So I want you to imagine how much rent you could receive. In fact, put that in your head. Put that in your head. If you owned a house that had the average cost of a house in America, $442,860, how much money per month do you think that you would make in income if you rented that house out? And in fact, not just income, but income after expenses, after you pay the taxes and pay for the repairs and pay the property manager and pay anything else that comes up. How much do you think you'd make per month? Now, let me give you an example. The house that I bought in Atlanta was $590,000. The value's gone up maybe about $100,000 since we bought it. We make $3,500 a month from that property, and that's before expenses. That's not after expenses. That's before expenses. Okay, so after expenses, maybe it drops to half of that. All right, now I want you to keep that number in your head. Write that down, or put it in the chat if you want to. Guess a number in the chat of what you think you'd make after expenses, and then I want us to have a point of comparison. Okay, so that's option one, right? Buy the property, deal with the tenant and hope that they pay the rent and all this other stuff. All right, and we got our number over there. Now, let's look at option B. Option B is I take that money, instead of putting it in the property, I buy 2,000 shares of Coinbase. Robinhood loans me half the money, so I don't have to put up the whole 442. I put up half of that. Let's look at what your income might be on this other investment. Well, remember, each of these options, sold for 11.65 each. Now you could get more expensive options sold if you want to. You just have to move the strike price. But 11.65 is a modest number that I picked. Now, instead of having 100 shares, you have 2,000 shares. Let's see how much money a person would make. And this is real life. This is something you could do on your phone right now. Let's see how much money that person would have by taking option B. $23,300. $23,300. Now, do you understand? Let me know. Give me a yes. Do you understand why I love options so much more than I love owning property? Like, do you understand why my wife and I are in the process of selling one of our properties right now? Because I showed it to my wife and she was like, "What are you doing? Like, get it done." Right? Okay. And maybe she's lucky. Like, she's a finance professor for a husband. I have no idea, but I know she gave me extra kisses and wanted to make me a steak that night when I showed her the results of putting our money to a more efficient use. So this is surprising for people. A lot of people are shocked by this. A lot of people think it almost sounds too good to be true. But one thing I can tell you is that I'm not a financial influencer. I'm a finance professor. I'm not a person here to sell you anything that's like a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. I don't believe in getting rich quick. I believe in getting rich slowly. I can verify this. You can pull out your phone and do this right now. So the question for you is this, right? So imagine if you bought a rental property for 442, do you think you can earn $23,000 after you pay the expenses, the mortgage payment, the taxes, the maintenance fees, the property management fees, the utilities, the insurance, and everything else? Yes or no? No, you couldn't. There's no way. Like, there's no way. It would be almost impossible to do that. So and now here's the other thing. Here are the other benefits to options income that I want you to kind of process. Okay. Not only is it a higher ROI, but it's got liquidity. One other thing about real estate or art or any other kind of investment is that people don't consider the challenge of having your money locked up. They don't think about the fact that you can't get your money out quickly if you need it. A lot of times it takes at least several days and sometimes weeks and months to get your money out. With this, you could sell the 2,000 shares of Coinbase in 30 seconds and get your money out. So liquidity is really important, especially when you need your money. Also, you can pass these assets to your children. How about that? How about this as a master plan? Everybody wants to, talk to me about who they're voting for and going to school for 12 years so they can, go become a surgeon or something. And I think all those things are great. I'm not against any of that. I did that. I went to school a long time to get a PhD. But what if instead you took that 2,000 shares of Coinbase that you've been using for years to generate, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income? And what if you just gave that to your child? And then they had 2,000 shares of Coinbase and they could sell options for 10, 11, $12 a piece every month and bring in $20,000 a month, bring in almost $250,000 a year without a college degree, without going to work. See, the thing is, I'm not really interested in complaining about the problem for too long. After we finish complaining, we got to solve the damn thing. This is a solution. This is implementable. This strategy costs the same as the average home in America. So if you can afford a house, you can afford to do this. Now, maybe you don't feel like you can afford a house. We could talk about that, like what it means to raise the capital base. And some of us are not there yet. Some of us, maybe look at a number like that and it seems like a big number. And remember, that's why I did it with 100 shares in 2000. But what I want you to understand is that there are easier ways to skin the cat than what you're typically being exposed to. This is something that a young kid could have at the age of 20 and without going to 8 more years of school could be making as much money as a medical doctor and possibly as much money as a surgeon. I know I have friends that are surgeons and they had to go to school for about 14 years to become surgeons. And that's just to get to the point where they can start making money. And then they have to go start working 18-hour shifts at the hospital where they can't have a personal life. They can't spend time with the kids. They can't do things they want to do. They're overworked. They're tired. They're exhausted. And they're doing this all the way up into their 40s and 50s. You can have your kid there at this level in their early 20s. Tell me this is not like awe-inspiring. This blows my mind. Anyway, let me keep going. I'm not going to overtalk it, but this to me is, I think, is adequate of a solution as anything I've ever heard in a presidential debate or something. So let's keep going here. Also, the best part that I like is that no work is required. I don't have to go stress out. I don't have to get up and deal with a boss every day. None of that stuff. And there are lots of you that are listening right now who are already doing this. And if you're listening in the chat, I hope you'll share your honest experience, your honest testimony, so that when I do lay out the pricing offer, people will know that this is not something that's just some goofball, like hope it works out kind of thing. This is something that can be implemented. I'm into practical solutions. That's what I like the most. So let me describe what you get in the Prime program. I'll go through this quickly so you can make a decision, decide if you'd like to go. And if you already have made the decision, you can go to drboyceprime.com and just see what's on there on that page. Dr. Boyce Prime. That's the URL. Okay, so here's what you get in the Prime program. And those of you who are already in it, this is a reminder of what you have access to, and I hope that you'll use your membership to the fullest because I want you to really get max value. We have biweekly coaching calls. I get on a Zoom with students and I answer questions. I lay out frameworks. I tell them what I'm investing in. I tell them what I'm up to. I tell them what's going on in the markets, where the opportunities are, stuff like that. And we talk as much as possible. Also, we have something called a Financial Juneteenth Investing Masterclass, where I spent 6 weeks explaining how to invest in the stock market. So if stocks are new to you and you want to understand them at a deeper level, this masterclass will get that done for you. You get access to what Dr. Boyce is buying. That's every single week. I give a list of stocks that I like, and I do research, and I find assets that your family can own for the next 5 to 10 years that will give you long-term economic value. You get access also to the Black Financial Therapy Department. My wife does family investment support group consultations. She just did one not too long ago where she brings the students together and they talk about things like financial anxiety and generally dealing with the emotions that come with investing and how to make sure you understand your relationship with money well enough that you're able to make good long-term economic decisions. Also, things like being able to work together as a group. We have a lot of family investment clubs where families come together and they pool their money together and they're generating income together. And basically, when you're working as a group and you're making money, a therapist is beneficial because a therapist can help make sure you get along with each other and that you never mess up your money by having these conflicts that so many of our families have. You get access to investment club training. There's lots of training blueprints and materials. If you want to form a family investment club, if you want to get together with that cousin, that sibling, and friends, etc., you can show them this video if you want to. And if they're as persuaded as you are, then doing it as a team is really great. It's a great way to change each other's lives. You also get access to a list of what I call Dr. Boyce money makers. And those of you who are in the Prime program, I just released another list of the money makers. So log in at drboyceprime.com and you can find them. And basically, this is my personal stock option selections. These are stocks I picked and vetted specifically to determine how much income they can generate, what that looks like based on the margin that's available, things like that. So you don't have to do that. So if you're not sure what to do, if you wanted to, you can literally follow what I'm doing, what I do to make money for my own family. This is what I actually apply. I'm not offering the medicine to you. I'm literally taking it myself. Okay. So what else do you get? You get access to, if you're new to stock options and you want to understand options better, there's a whole training on how to invest in stock options. You get access to that program. Then you also get access to an expanded topics group in what I call Black Money 102. Black Money 102 is our stock market training program. It's very popular. It's been around about 7 or 8 years, and it just takes you through everything you need to know about the stock market. We also have excellent customer support. If you're looking for something new, you can just email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, and they can help you find whatever you're looking for. Okay, so if you add up the value of all the materials that I just listed to you, it would be about $8,692 per year. Okay, let's put that into context. When I taught at Syracuse University, I don't know what the tuition was exactly back then, but I know the last time I checked a couple of years ago, it was about $73,845. It's probably over $80,000 a year now. I wanted to leave that environment mainly because I felt like that's too much to pay. Most of the Black students I taught at Syracuse are still 20 years later trying to pay off their student loans. I don't want that happening to you. So to join this program, the fee is only $2,999 a year. $299 per year. If you want it now today, the offer I can make to you is $19.99 per year. So if you want to go sign up at drboyceprime.com now, you can actually get in for $19.99 per year. Now, I want to ask you a quick question and give me a yes or no if you agree or if you understand where I'm coming from on this. If this made you an extra $50,000 a year, would it be worth it? A lot of you already have, you're already saving, you're already buying stock, you're already trying to figure out ways to move forward. If it made an extra $50,000 a year, would you consider this to be a good investment? And if the answer is no, then it's no. But if it's yes, then I'd like for you to say yes. If you were able to make just an extra 20,000 a year, would it be worth it? Would 20,000 a year work for you? Would that make you say, yeah, I'm glad I did this? Uh, if you just made 10,000 a year, would it be worth it? What do you think? I don't know. Do you think that this is the goal? This should be the goal of really all educational programs, because I've seen people who know probably 1/50th of what I know about stock markets and stock options literally offer programs that are like 15, $20,000 a year, insane amounts of money. And they don't get the results. And so a lot of you came to me because you were so jaded by what you were seeing kind of out there from people that really didn't have the training in this area. Well, we have the training, and also we have money back guarantees, student testimonials, stuff like that. So you know that what you're getting is a real deal. So here's a student testimonial someone wrote, and we have hundreds of them actually. They wrote, "I love the information given, the openness and honesty, the ability to communicate with Dr. Boyce, to ask questions and to gain positive insight." So that's what Danny Dean said. And if you want to join monthly, the monthly option is $3.99 per month. So that would be the monthly fee if you wanted to do the monthly option. Now, today, if you want to sign up, you can actually sign up for $239 per month. That's the monthly fee that you can get today. Now, here's another testimonial from a student. "I love how you give everyday illustrations to explain what you're saying." Inez Boykin sent us that note. Jose Lopez says, "It has totally changed the way I look at the market. I would think there's no way I can learn this market stuff. Now I'm filled with hope that I can use this information to make positive changes in my family's life." So Jose Lopez Ramos said this. All right. So here's the thing. If you had an extra $3,000 per month, what would you do with that money? Well, here's some things you could do. The average used car note is $503, so you could easily cover that. The average mortgage payment on a $300,000 house is $2,071. You could cover that. So maybe some of you could use the money to pay your mortgage. What's left over, even with just $3,000 a month, is after you pay the car note and the mortgage, you still have $426 left over. That's money you can actually invest. So this allows you to have positive cash flow in your household that you can use for long-term wealth building and really have a long-term economic plan. So the cash flow really is a gateway to allow you access to wealth, but also allow you access to a more enjoyable life where your decisions are not being made by a lack of cash or financial security or financial insecurity. If you invest 426 per month, if you take the extra 426 and you invest it every month, how much would you have in 20 years? This shows you the power of compound interest. You would actually have $103,471. So literally, this isn't just a training program. This isn't just a way to make extra money. This isn't just a way to make money without working. This is a pathway to building the kinds of economic infrastructures that we'd like to be able to pass to our children. This is a generational wealth master plan that you can apply. A lot of you are already applying this. I know families that are doing this already. It's working. This is exactly how you build an economic empire. So very quickly, I'd like to sweeten the deal for you. So instead of the $19.99 price that I mentioned earlier, if you'd like, you can join right now for $869 per year. So if you go to drboyceprime.com, your annual fee would be $869 per year. This number will never change as long as you are a member. If you sign up today, that is your price. That is it forever. Okay. And I think $869 per year is maybe $80, $90 a month or something like that. If you want to do monthly, you don't have to pay $299. How about we make it $155 per month? That's the absolute best deal we can offer. Right now, we've got a lot of people in the program, so at some point we're just going to shut down enrollment because I don't want it to get too big. But that's literally the best offer we can make. That allows the Black Business School to continue to grow, and it also allows you to be able to test it and see if you like it and get the benefit from it. And so that's the offer. There you go. That's the offer. So if you want to take advantage of the offer, just so you know, there's a lot of bonuses thrown in there as well. And just to recap what you get bi-weekly coaching calls with me, access to the Financial Juneteenth Investing Masterclass, access to what Dr. Boyce is buying. You get access to the Family Investment Support Group consultations with Dr. Alicia, access to Investment Club training programs and blueprints, access to Dr. Boyce Moneymakers, the list that I put together for the students once every 2 to 3 weeks, access to how to invest in stock options training. Okay, so that if you're a beginner, you can figure it all out, and then once you get there, you'll be able to generate your income, and so. Oh, and then also access to Black Money 102, our stock market training program. So you have these choices. Here are your choices. Your choices are very simple. You could take no action at all, right? If you take no action at all, then you're losing money. That means that if you could have made $1,000 a month, then over 12 months you lose $12,000 per year. If you were going to make 2,500 per month, a lot of our students are making 2,500 per month or more. Over 12 months, that's $30,000 a year that you'd be giving up by not taking action. This is my encouragement to you to do something, whatever it is you want to do. I encourage you to do something. And so you could do it all by yourself. You could sit down and try to figure it all out on your own. There's nothing wrong with that. I encourage you. I support you, whatever pathway you take. But the problem is that you won't have the guidance to be able to avoid the risks. I have seen lots of money get lost by people trying to do it on their own. There's a student that I meet with twice a week in one-on-one consultations, and one thing that he was saying is that he says you talk in a way that makes everything look easy, and that's and I'm proud of that because I like to use simple analogies to help you understand the bigger picture. He says, but once you dig into the weeds, it's not as easy as you make it sound. And I'm glad I can talk to you because because you can clear that up. So ultimately, that guidance is something I'd like to offer you. That's where I want to add value to your life is by literally sharing with you in real time what I'm doing and what I'm seeing. Because I've personally had scenarios where I missed something and ended up making a mistake. Okay, so ultimately, that guidance is part of what you get by being part of the group. In addition to that, there are action alerts that I send out to the students via text. You won't get the action alerts on investing possibilities and opportunities as they come out. You won't be part of the collective. The students have become friends. They've formed a family. They're going to all get together and meet each other at the All Black National Convention. And so that collective is a great way to elevate your economic game. Instead of spending all your time around people that are struggling, you'll be around people that are thriving. Instead of being around people that are negative, you'll be around people that are positive. Instead of being around people that are afraid of being black, you're around people that love being black. Instead of being around people that are following the crowd, you'll be around people that are innovative thinkers. You'll be around people that are wealth builders. Some of them are flat out rich and doing really amazing things. That's an amazing collective. It's a beautiful group of really prosperous, successful people that will really help you to elevate your peer standing because a lot of you are struggling because you have so much consciousness and awareness. And James Baldwin actually said that when you become conscious, it's very lonely and it's very frustrating because other people aren't rising with you. Well, this is the consciousness cloud. I mean, this is literally the most extraordinary brain trust in the entire Black community because you have intelligent people that are on the cutting edge of finance and money. And they're implementing these ideas and they're getting it done and they're doing it as families. There's father-son duos, there's mother-daughter duos, there's entire families, grandma getting involved, grandma trading stock options with the grandbaby. I mean, this is all happening right now in real time. And I think you would enjoy the collective quite a lot. And also, direct coaching from me and my team. That's another area where we add value. That's always available. Sometimes there's a little bit of an add-on bonus cost or something if you want sort of one-on-ones or small group training, but it doesn't cost that much. And it's definitely designed where I tell you straight out from the very beginning, if you don't feel like you're benefiting financially by what you're investing, if you don't feel that what you're gaining exceeds what you invested, then we don't want your money. We don't want you to sign up. Your university didn't say that when they took $100,000 from you. So we're not going to say that if we get you to invest 1,000. Okay. Also, insider secrets on what options and strike prices, et cetera, to choose. I'm very specific with the students. They say, okay, I don't know what expiration date to pick or what strike price or what particular option. I tell them exactly step by step. Okay, this is what I'm picking right now. Feel free to follow. It's not investing advice. I don't give investing advice, but I do let people follow me if they want to. And I also talk about what I'm seeing in the pros and cons of each approach. All right. So if you try to figure it all by yourself, It might, like it does for a lot of people. It might take you 5 or 10 years to do it right, where you're spending time kind of losing money, paying tuition in the school of life to figure it out. Or you can take the shortcut. I have a PhD in finance. I've been doing this for 30 years. I started teaching finance in 1993. So I've already made the mistakes so that you don't have to. So I've also condensed the process to make it simple. So anyway, in fact, there are times where I can do it for you if you're interested. Now, if you want to know something about the Black Business School, I hope you'll allow me to kind of brag on how great our Black-owned institution is. There's something called a Net Promoter Score. A Net Promoter Score is a measure through surveys of how many raging fans you have of your school, like how much people, or of your product, period. It's a school product, brand, business, whatever, right? So to give you some ideas of net promoter scores as a benchmark of customer satisfaction, how happy the customers are, also how loyal the customers are. It also measures the willingness to recommend the business to a friend or to an acquaintance. Let's look at some examples of some famous brands and what their net promoter scores are. So if you look at companies like Microsoft, they have a great net promoter score of 40. If you look at Amazon, you go up to 51. If you go to Apple, their net promoter score is 52. Harvard University, their net promoter score is also 52. The Black Business School, we measured our net promoter score. We sent out the survey and did the measurements. Our net promoter score was 94. 94. How about that for Black excellence? I'm very proud of that. Yeah, our net promoter score is 70, 80% higher than some of the strongest companies in America. I mean, and some of y'all are in here. Some of y'all already know. I mean, for some of y'all might be preaching. I told y'all that I'm. This is kind of my practice to get ready for the event that I'm going to do in a little bit. So I thought I'd kind of run this by you guys and see what you thought. But then I was like, well, if they want to join, you're still welcome to do so. Um, but yeah, a lot of you are raging fans because we put a lot of damn effort into just making sure you're happy. We started from the very beginning, and I said I want us to be student obsessed, customer obsessed. I want us to make people happy. I want us to make people's lives better. And if we're not doing that, we want you to tell us how we can do that better. So we're good at what we do. There's no risk of you signing up for something and feeling like, oh, they screwed me over or they did me dirty. We don't do that. We don't do that. So students love our trainings. Here's another testimony from Letitia Parker. She says, Dr. Boyce is so thorough in his explanations. The examples he gives are very clear and easy to understand. I highly recommend the courses because you will most definitely get your money's worth. Actually, you get more than your money's worth because he goes above and beyond in making sure that the students learn what they need to be successful. He's simply the best. Well, thank you, Letitia, for saying that. And I did not tell her to say that. I've not met Letitia. I just saw her comment. All right. So one last thing I'll throw in there, just is just a formality for sure, but it's an important one, is we also have what I call the Dr. Boyce hassle-free refund guarantee. So if you're not happy for any reason in the first 30 days, you can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com and they will give you a full 100% refund with no questions asked. And in fact, if you're not satisfied and you sign up and you do the annual membership, then we will not just give you a free refund. We will give you a free $1,000 course. So all you got to do is say, hey, I'm not happy. I want my refund and my free course, and they will give you both. And so that's how determined we are to show you that we know what we're doing and that we're good at it, and how much comfort we have in letting you know that you're going to absolutely love being part of the Prime program. The Prime membership will be something that will change your life and elevate you in so many ways that you can imagine. So if you want to take advantage of the offers that I mentioned, $869 for the year or $155 per month, you can go to drboyceprime.com right now. Remember, the annual fee was $29.99. Your fee is going to be $879, and also the regular monthly fee is $399. Yours will be $155. That is not going to be the price in the future, but that's the price right now for you. And and one more thing, I forgot to mention this. If you have someone in your family that you want to share this with, we are, for you guys, there's buy one, get one free. So that means that if you sign up and you want to join right now, then you can bring someone in your household that can share your membership and share your login, and they can actually participate in the membership with you. Okay. Now we ask that's per household though, that not just anybody that you just find anywhere, but they have to be someone in your household that you are connected to or related to, because building wealth is not fun when you do it by yourself. because you don't want to be the rich person with a bunch of broke people around you, because that just puts you in danger. So instead, as you elevate, we want you to elevate with others around you so that it's a comfortable experience, and other people can benefit from your prosperity. So I'm going to ask you all now, are there any questions that you have? And you can feel free to also give me any feedback if there's something that you feel like I didn't touch on, or whatever the case may be. And let's see, Pamela says, I've joined and I will need to add a family member. Yeah, yeah, please do that. And email support at theblackbusinessschool.com if you have any questions about how to do that. Let's see, Miles says, do you know any apps I can use to set up an account to buy stocks? There's a lot of apps. Robinhood is one, of course, and then they have E-Trade and stuff like that. You can do that. Patricia says, what's the link to join? The URL is drboyceprime.com. And so what I'm going to do is I will put the link to the page. I'll put it in the chat if you guys want to just click on the link. But yeah, it's Dr. Boyce Prime, PRIME.com. And also, and by the way, thank you guys for letting me share this. As you can see, it's a training and it's also a pitch. And I appreciate you all hearing this out from me. That really helps me a lot in terms of just sort of thinking things through. And by the way, if you have a question, put your question in the Q&A section. And I'll see it there. If you put it in the chat, I may or may not see it. You're a fast talker. Will we receive the replay slide deck to revisit the session? Asked Sandra. Yeah. The replay, I can text it out. I'll text it out to you. So if you're on the Money in the Morning text list, if you're not on the Money in the Morning text list, just text the word morning to 87948. Text morning to 87948, and I'll send it to you via text today. You have a lot of international viewers as well. Yeah, I do. And we do have international students that are in the program. International students can invest in U.S. markets. You'd have to work with like a local bank or something like that. Let's see here. What do you mean by capital as opposed to money? That's a great question. Capital is basically something that you can use to get more resources or to get the things you need. In particular, let's say money. So when you talk about capital, if I'm a farmer and I have cows and pigs and chickens, let's say that I never have any money, I can still use the cow is still a source of capital because I can get milk from the cow. I can make a steak from the cow. I can breed the cow. Maybe if I think there's a cow. There's like this cow in Mexico that's like the biggest cow ever. He's like the Shaquille O'Neal of cows. And this cow literally, I think to buy the eggs from the cow is like $400,000 to get the eggs because the cow breeds these big old gigantic cows, right? So anything that generates resources or money for you is capital, pretty much. When you sell an option, how do you select the stock to sell? There's a lot of criteria. There's different things like what they call implied volatility. There is also just the risk level of the asset. It depends on whether the company has an earnings announcement coming up, things like that. Let's see, Dr. B, the link you shared came up at $19.99 per year. Go to the bottom. If you go to the page, let me see if I can pull up the page for you, Zoe. Let's see here. Let me make sure everything's what it's supposed to say. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, you know what? Okay, here we go. Let me give you a code that you can use. Because I think Micah changed everything. So I've got a discount code you guys can use. Let's see here. All right, so if you go to the Prime page, if you go to the top, it says start making money now. And at that point, you can pick which offer you want, the monthly offer, the annual offer. So if you go with the monthly option, I want you to remove the discount code, and I'm going to show you exactly how to put in the new code. I didn't know this. I think Micah changed everything on the page. I don't know why. Maybe it was my fault for giving her the wrong information. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the code if you want the monthly discount. The monthly discount, you can put in the code. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's offer 2023 monthly, offer 2023 monthly, all one word. Okay. Now, if you go with the annual option at $869, the code is offer 2023, and there is no monthly at the end, just offer 2023. Okay. So let me show you how to apply that. Gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. See, this is why you practice because, Sometimes you miss stuff, right? Because we had talked yesterday about it, and I think that she changed it and didn't know. All right, so here, if you go to drboyceprime.com, you're going to see this, right? And all the details and information on the program are listed on this page, right? In terms of all the bonuses and everything that you get when you sign up. And if you want to just scroll to get to the, cut to the chase and sign up, you hit start making money now. Now, here at the bottom, you got two plans you can pick from. You've got the monthly plan, and here she's got $349, and this discount gives you $50 off, but that's not the discount you guys can get. I'm going to give you a discount code to get the big discount. This one is $19.99 per year, which is $1,000 off per year. You're not going to have to pay that. So if you want to do monthly, here's what you could do. You could click on this, and you can put in the code. So here on this page, right? Here's the price, $399 per month. It says $50 off. I want to give you a bigger discount. So what you do is you hit remove for the code, apply the new coupon code, and put offer 2023 monthly. All one word, offer 2023 monthly. Now look at the prices, $399. If you hit apply, it'll drop by $243 and you go to $155 per month. Okay. Now, if you want to do annual, if you want to sign up annually, then what you have to do is this. Okay. So what you would do is you go back to that page, drboyceprime.com, and you would use the code 20, let's see, was it offer 2023, all one word. Okay. So let me share the screen again and show you guys. All right. So here on this page, so right here where it says annual, you could hit enroll now. And when you get on the second page, you would remove the discount code. So here it says $29.99. That's the regular price. You can get $1,000 off by default, which goes to $19.99. But what you want to do is remove that code and use the better code. So you hit apply coupon code after you hit remove, and you could type offer 2023. Okay. And then you hit apply. And once you hit apply, you should see your discount. This goes from $29.99 down to $869.71. Okay. And that is the price that you would pay. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And I'm sorry, guys, about the confusion on that. I thought that she, I didn't know she had changed it like that. We talked about it, but I didn't know she actually did it. All right, so let me answer some more questions here. All right, so the Antonio Fuller says BKTX is very volatile, but has a good premium. Yeah, that was on the moneymaker list. We took that one off. Yeah, that's not one that I'm invested in anymore. Let's see. AC Salam says, what is the minimum amount of stock to own to be able to sell options? To sell options on a stock, you have to own at least 100 shares of that stock. If you own less than 100 shares of the stock, then you can't trade options on it. So if the stock is $25 per share, then 100 shares would cost $2,500. So when you ask about things like the minimum amount of capital to get started, you'd have to have enough capital to be able to buy 100 shares of that stock. And then also there's some other things that you'd want to do to manage risk, like using put options in particular. So that might cost a little bit more. But then there's various ways to apply that strategy as well. Let's see here. Someone posted in the chat, what's the advantage of your school? The advantage of our school is that we're very good at what we do, particularly when it comes to identifying and resolving a lot of the economic problems, the Black wealth problems that exist within our families. We're able to dig into those areas that standard universities don't dig into. That's why the Black wealth problem has never been solved. It's because no one's really tried to actually solve it in a meaningful way. They try to solve it with maybe a rising tide lifts all boats sort of approach, and that just doesn't work. You have to be very specific. The Black community has been through a very unique experience, and we believe that that experience requires surgery, not just an aspirin. Okay, Al says I tried offer 2023 monthly, invalid code. Actually, it's all one word. Did you try offer 2023 monthly altogether? It's just like that. I'm typing in the chat. It's all one word. So don't separate anything. So try it without. Okay. And actually, I just heard from Micah, and I think Micah changed the code so that if you do go to drboyceprime.com right now, you will find that the code may already be in there. So if you hit start making money now and you go to the bottom, yeah, she's made it easy for you. So actually, so if you just go there now, you don't even have to put the code in. We just made that easy for you guys. At first, she had switched it, and now you have to put it in there. But now she's just switched it back because I asked her to. All right, so let's see. Another question says, could you share the capital base used to make these amounts? Yeah, well, in the example I gave with Coinbase, I showed you exactly what you could do. I mean, this is not, there's no mystery with that. I mean, if you have enough money to buy 2,000 shares of Coinbase, you can sell the options on the Coinbase, and that's it. And that's very, very straightforward. Let's see, Zoe. Oh, no, you're not being a pain at all. Yeah, well, you know what? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So you went in at the higher price. Yeah. If you did that, if you went ahead and signed up at the higher price, then just email support@theblackbusinessschool.com and they'll refund the difference. So email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, tell them what happened, and they can fix that for you. So the customer service is very, very good. And I wish there was a person that was actually in the room right now to talk to you from customer service, but they couldn't make it. But they're available right now. You can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. They will make sure you're happy. That's I know that. I mean, I've worked with the people that run customer service for about 6 years now. They're very good at what they do. Let's see here. Can you use this plan with an investment club? Yes, you absolutely can. It's in fact, it's more fun to do it as a group for sure. Do you have to? Let's see here. Juanita Nelson signed up for Black Money 102. Does that teach stock options? No, 102 is stock market investing. So we talk about stocks, but it doesn't go very deeply into options. Let's see. Rolo says, I believe selling call options per week is better than monthly. It can be. It depends on what asset you're talking about. It depends on how consistently you want your cash flow. Some people want their money monthly. Some people want it weekly. It really depends on what your preference is for sure. Let's see here. What was the initial investment for the example you were giving? I think for the Coinbase, it was 2,000 shares, which took you to a total valuation of about 442. And you'd have to put up about half of that in Robinhood. So you'd have to put up about half of 442, which is what, 222, something like that. And so remember though that you don't have to do the 2,000 share example. I just did that to compare it to real estate. You could do 1,000 shares if that's all you have. You could do 200 shares, right? The point was to say, what if you approached it with the same capital base that you might put into a real estate deal? Let's look at the reasons why this is a much better way to make money. Again, no work. It's highly liquid. ROI is better. That's why I've walked away from real estate a little bit. I don't hate it. I think real estate ownership can be very beneficial, but I own a lot of my real estate through real estate investment trust now. I publicly traded real estate investment trust. I don't do a lot of the illiquid deals anymore because they just haven't really been that beneficial. I don't like locking my money up, and then the risk is way too high. So that's just my 2 cents. Can you do the 869 in 4 payments? We don't have that. We don't have a payment plan for the annual, but you can do monthly, right? Monthly just means, you pay the monthly fee. So right now, the two options we have are the annual and the monthly, and that's pretty much what they have. They can look at a payment plan, but right now, there's nothing in place for that. It's just those two ways to pay. Some say weekly options is dangerous. Why? I don't know, Ronald, what the context of that comment might have been, but I don't think they're dangerous. I think everything can be dangerous or not dangerous depending on the situation. So, yeah, options investing can be very dangerous if you do it in a way that builds a lot of risk. You can go and trade options in a way that will ruin and risk everything. Or you can go and trade options in a way where you're very, very safe and very, very conservative. Companies use the options market not to increase their risk, but to reduce their risk. So don't ever think options are just one thing. It's just like fire. Fire is not good or bad. Fire is just powerful. If you use fire in the right way, it can do amazing things for you and cook your food and keep you warm. But if you're irresponsible with it, then bad things can happen. So let's see here. Is $5,000 a good base to start with? Yeah, a lot of students start with about $5,000. You add some leverage, it can do some good things for your life. My husband enrolled in Prime about a year ago or so. I'm now coming on board. Now, I wish I'd done it sooner. Lessons from the stock options have paid off and created great passive income. Yeah, good, good. I'm glad, Miss Bird, that we were able to convince you to take a look. And it's okay. Like I've met people who were super skeptical for a long time. I counseled a couple directly, and they were very skeptical for good reason. The husband was I think he was a federal agent or something, and I can talk to people in that space because my father was a detective for a long time, so I know how cops kind of think. They're skeptical of everything, right? And I think that that's fine. I think that's good, right? And he was very skeptical of me for a very long time. He was skeptical of investing in stuff like this for a long time, and they had good reason to feel this way because they'd made some investments and stuff that really, really just took him for a ride and cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it took him maybe 5 years before he trusted me. And I was like, okay, have I earned your trust? Do you feel comfortable? He said, yeah. Yeah. And he smiled. And I know that's a lie. Cops don't really smile. Right. So, it's one of those things where if you're not comfortable, I understand. Then let's keep talking until you get comfortable. And you can dip your toe in the water. And that's why we have things like money back guarantees and stuff like that, because the internet is an interesting place where it's attracted a lot of people that just are just getting you to do stuff with the promise of possibly turning it into money. And a lot of these people are not trained or qualified on any level. You look at their background, they don't have any credentials, but they sound good. And some of them are flat out criminals. And so, yeah, I get it. I totally respect whatever your process is. And for those of you where it took you a little while to gain the trust, that's okay. I hope that we can keep earning that. I want us to keep moving that direction for sure. Let's see here. Okay, the Q&A bot. Okay, wow, there's a lot of 34 questions. All right, I'm gonna answer as many as I can in rapid fire succession so we can bounce out. And by the way, the URL is drboyceprime.com. That's drboyceprime.com if you'd like to take advantage of the offer. I want to do one-on-one coaching. What's the extra cost? I don't have the cost in front of me right now. I know that it's not. I know that a lot of people do like 30-minute sessions, and it's a few $100, maybe like 5.99 or something like that. And it's because we don't have a lot of them. We just don't, and they fill up really fast. But if you want to do something like that, then email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. The one-on-ones are not something that I think everybody has to do. It's really for those that are making weighty decisions that really need me to specifically look specifically at what you're doing. I wish I could do that for everybody, but I can't. And so that's where the investment makes sense, right? You pay a consultant when if you're making a $20,000 decision. Well, yeah, it makes sense to pay a few $100 to get good information so you don't lose the $20,000, right? So yeah, feel free to email support@theblackbusinessschool.com and Chanel can set that up. I won't be able to do a lot of one-on-ones in the next 3 or 4 weeks, though. I got to go we're doing our group trip to Egypt and some other stuff that's happening. But I'll be able to do them maybe, I think, toward the end of August. Is the $900 per year forever? Yeah, that fee, whatever price you sign up for today is yours for life. That's your fee forever. Let's see. I want to join, but the only option is yeah. Okay, so the 1999 option. I hope you're able to. Or sorry, I said 879. Actually, it's 897. I got the numbers reversed in my head. I gotta check. Maybe that's a dyslexia or something. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. To be precise, it's 897.71. That's what Micah sent me. Sorry, wait. I said 87. No, 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 it's not 879. Sorry, it's 869.71. Jeez, the numbers are spinning around in my brain. So it's actually lower, it looks like. So yeah, so just go to the page and thank you, Miss Dixon. I appreciate that. Yeah, 869.71. So you can go to drboyceprime.com and those are your prices. Thank you very much, Terrence. I appreciate that. Sorry for being scramble brain. This is why I'm practicing with you guys, and I appreciate you guys letting me go through this with you and talk to you about this. Okay, so let's see. D Hines says, "What if I want a friend to join? How long is the option available?" The first 30 days. If you just reach out to the team and talk to them about it, then the only thing that we can't allow is like people just blanketly sharing with like too many people, just because that kind of undermines the ability of the school to operate. We are a Black-owned business, and we do hire lots of people that help us to implement this. I can't do this by myself. We need a team, and we don't take money from corporations or the government because I don't want to be a government-funded institution. I think that that's what's actually hurt our HBCUs is that they are dependent on the government, so they can't actually solve problems in an adequate way. Like, for example, it doesn't make any sense that most HBCUs won't even invite Dr. Claude Anderson to speak. Why wouldn't you want the premier Black economic thinker on earth to come into your campus? Well, it's because they're afraid of what the man is going to, what other, what I mean, other people are going to think that have a stake in sort of keeping us right where we are. And so we present solutions, and our solutions actually work. Let's see, the original Prime student from day one. Okay, Justin, if you want to get the adjustment on the price you signed up for, this is a special offer for new members, but talk to the team. Maybe they can work with you, offer you a bonus or something like that. We're not opposed to talking about that for sure. Let's see here. Yeah, reach out to the support team and talk to them about your situation, and we can definitely figure that out. Let's see. Michael Ruff, is there a promo code for the deal? Yeah, there's actually not a promo code anymore. You can just go to drboyceprime.com and it's right there on the page. How do I set up multiple children in your Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program? Email support at theblackbusinessschool.com. They can help you with that. If you have multiple kids and you want to get them set up, we have our Black Business School for Children. I think our children, if you have ambitious, intelligent children or grandchildren that are willing to learn things that are going to help them make money later on in life, I think teaching them stock options is absolutely appropriate. I think they can understand it. Our kids get it. They're going to have to learn something to make money. They're going to have to go to dental school or something, or they're going to have to learn how to be a nail tech or whatever it is that they choose to do. And those things are hard to learn. So if they can learn those hard things, if you can learn the hard stuff required to become an employee, then you should be able and willing to learn the hard stuff required to become an investor. I think it's very strange that we are, okay with going to school and learning all kinds of special skills that let us serve other people. I have, one of our kids works at a restaurant. Um like Applebee's style restaurant. And I'm gonna say Applebee's style because I don't want to be giving away too much personal information. But I went through her training and she had this massive pile of stuff to learn. You had to learn all the different menu configurations and how to serve the customers and the procedures to make the food and everything else. And it was like a college class. So if you can learn all that, if you can learn all the stuff required to learn how to serve food at Applebee's, why can't why can't you learn stock options? Like I just explained stock options to you in an hour or so. So I just don't get it. And I know people that make thousands doing, with stock options. I don't know a lot of people who get rich working at Applebee's. I just don't. So anyway, let me get off that soapbox. Travis, would it be wise to start with 5K? 5K, I say start where you are. Some of you have 0K. Even if you have no money, that doesn't mean you have no wealth. You just might have to figure out a way to get some money to go with your wealth. But when you're learning this stuff, that's a form of wealth in itself. You just may need to find somebody that has a little bit more money than you and talk to them about what you know and see if there's a way you can partner together. Let's see, how many shares of individual stock do you have to own to do options? You have to own 100 shares of a stock in order to sell options on that stock. Between joining Prime or attending your conference in October, which would be more impactful as a first step? I would say joining Prime because with Prime, it's a year-round thing. The conference, you can work up to that. The All Black National Convention, October 25th through the 27th. We are going to have a special gathering of Prime students where you get a chance to meet others that are in the group as well. Let's see here. That's okay. That's not an embarrassing question, Kenya. The price, if you go to drboyceprime.com, Kenya, there is the pricing is at the bottom. The annual fee is $869.71. That's the special price for today. The monthly fee is $155. Okay, so those are the options. Those are the prices that you have available, and all the information is at drboyceprime.com. So let me answer a few more questions, and then we're going to bounce on out, and then I will see you all tomorrow morning for class. Thank you for hearing me out on this discussion. I hope you gained something from this. Let's see. L. Davis, the additional discount for the $897 annually is not showing. It should show, Mr. Davis. Okay, it looks like the comment came in 20 minutes ago after Micah made the change. So it should be on the page for sure. If you don't see it or you have any challenges and you don't see the prices that I mentioned, email support at theblackbusinessschool.com. They will take care of you. They will make sure that you're in good shape. Once we join Prime, don't we have to buy 100 shares of more than one stock in order to earn money? No, I mean, I know people that sell options with just one stock. You don't necessarily have to have a bunch of them. You can just have one that makes money for you. So for example, let's say I had something like, let's look at another stock that I like Marathon Platforms or Marathon Digital. So let's say that let's say I went out and bought 200 shares of Marathon Digital for $3,834. Robinhood requires me to put up 60% of that money, and I could sell an option on that that expires a month from now, and I could make roughly, depending on which one I pick, I could make roughly $1.63 per option. So if I had 200 shares, I can make about $350 a month from selling those options. Then now that's not a ton of money. It's not life changing, but the amount of the investment is pretty small. It's only $3,800 that you're using to buy the stock, and you don't even have to put up the whole 3,800. You put up about 2,000 of that, and then you're able to generate consistent income every month from that. Now, if you had did something bigger like 38,000, then you can add a zero. So instead of me making 350 or whatever per month, I can make 3,500 a month. For a lot of you, 3,500 would pay your mortgage or pay your rent plus your car note. For a lot of you, 3,500 is almost escape velocity money. Like that's freedom money, right? Or if it's not 3,500, maybe it's 7,000. Whatever your number is, I can tell you when my favorite individuals and couples to work with are people that have been savers their whole life or have money put to the side or have access to some type of capital. It might be through a HELOC or whatever. And literally, when they tell me how much they want to use towards stock options, I literally will say, okay, how much money do you need to make each month? And they give me the number, and I say, okay, let's take that capital base. Let's see if we can get to that number. And we shape a portfolio, and it's not investing advice. I just tell them this is what I would do. And I lay it out and I say, well, you could buy some of this and then buy some of that and then buy some of that and then do this and then this and do this. And then when we get done, I say, okay, here's your number, $7,245 or whatever. This is bigger than your number. How do you feel? I literally I think investing's connected to feelings. My wife got me into feelings and stuff. And because she's a therapist. And every single time, every single time they smile. Like every single time, it's like, yeah, and that's because money creates that natural dopamine rush. It's so much fun to make more money. And it's and you think about this, right? Think about how excited we are if our boss gives us like a tiny raise, like he gives us like a 5%, 10% raise, and you make an extra $1,000 a year or $2,000 a year, and you feel good that day. Imagine if you're making, an extra $3,000 a month. Like that's a pretty good feeling. So this is real stuff. This is not hocus pocus. We got probably a couple thousand students or something in Prime now. I don't know how many are there exactly, but I want them to give you authentic reactions so that you will just kind of know what's going on. And if you are a student and the reaction isn't what we want it to be, then reach out to our team and they can talk to you about ways we can figure things out so that you can get the reaction that you want. Okay. Elhai says greatest feeling ever. Yeah, it's really good. And I think that what also happens is that you're also feeling my natural reaction to this because this affects my life. This is how I make money for my wife and my kids and my family. So this is not just me teaching, this is me doing as I'm teaching. So I'm definitely a player coach. I invest right along with the students. That one stock I showed you that went up by $200 in a day or something, and everybody made a bunch of money. That was literally an asset. My student asked me about it. I looked at it and I said, "Oh yeah, this is great. I love this." And I had some extra money sitting to the side, so I invested in it too. We all made money together, right? So this is a great feeling. Investing, now, mind you, I want to be really clear though. Investing always has risk. There are some times where you have to learn how to manage and deal with the fact that portfolios don't always go up in value. And that's why we have the Black Financial Therapy Department, because my wife, a therapist, is there to help us figure out how to process feelings in a way that's not going to destroy the long-term value of what we're trying to do. Right. So the risk part is really important. I'm not here to ever make you think that there's not risk, but I am here to tell you that there are ways to manage risk effectively, and the good does outweigh the bad. All right. So let's see a couple more questions, then we're going to bounce on out of here. Let's see. I hope everyone's. Please help. Can someone please help me sign up? Okay, so Stan, if you go to drboyceprime.com, you should be able to hit the button at the top that says start making money now. It'll take you to the bottom. You got the monthly option or the annual option with the discounts already embedded. If you are stuck, if you have any more trouble signing up, you can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. They will work with you until it's fixed or until you feel better. They will call you on the phone if they have to, and they will make sure that you get signed up. Okay, so Stan, so let me know if you're still stuck on that. All right, a couple more questions, then I'm going to get on out of here. Let's see here. I just enrolled in Miami. That's money in a minute. Okay. Is this an overlap or complement to the Prime course? That is a complement to actually Money in the Morning. So Money in a Minute is basically, which if you're interested and you want to take a look at that, you text the word Miami to 87948. That's Money in a Minute. Get it? That's the acronym. So Money in a Minute is where basically, when we were doing Money in the Morning, I said, how do we form habits where we can increase our financial literacy by having a lesson delivered every morning to us on on our cell phone? So, Money in a Minute is where every single morning you'll get like a basic lesson on stock options delivered to you right to your cell phone, and so you can watch the lecture. It takes 90 seconds, 2 minutes, very short, so almost really mini lectures, and then you've learned something that day. And by the end of 30 days, you have a basic fundamental understanding of the market and kind of how it works. So feel free to text the word Miami to 87948 if you'd like to take a look at Money in a Minute. Okay, let's see here. Also, can you have an investment club to do this program? Yes, absolutely, Eunice. The investment clubs are the best way. It's a lot of fun because you can build wealth, learn, and also connect with people you love at the same time. It's the best Black experience ever. What's the URL again? It's drboyceprime.com. That's drboyceprime.com. Let's see. What trading platform is best for getting started? I like Robinhood for the simplicity. There are other apps out there, but Robinhood's one of my favorites. Let's see. Will this be Zoom? Will these be Zoom meetings? Yes, we're gonna have one soon. And so once you sign up, you will be on the text list and I will text you guys. In fact, if you wanted to get on the text list now, you'd have to log in to come in. But if you want to even get on the text list for Prime now, text the word options to 87948. If you text options to 87948, I will send you links when we have our meetings coming up and also when we do Q&A. So text options to 87948. You have to log in though, so make sure you're signed up so you can get in. Let's see, what app do you use for stock options? Oh, I use a lot of them. Let's see. I mentioned Robinhood earlier. That's my favorite. In Prime, do you show how to analyze stocks? If so, where do I find that in Prime? You know what? With stock analysis, I take a little bit of an unconventional approach in the sense that analyzing stock is not what a lot of people make you think it is. A lot of people make you think that it's a matter of looking at all these ratios and trying to figure out the direction of a stock or a company by looking at their financials. I just don't know if that is the best approach, to be honest with you, not based on the research, because I don't even think it's like it would give you a bunch of information that would only confuse you and you wouldn't even know exactly how to apply it. So really paying attention to what the analysts say is more important than you trying to be the analyst. It's like if I want to get my car fixed, I could take the hood off and I could pull the engine out and I could try to take it apart and put it back together again, but I'd have to have a lot of training to do that properly. So the best thing for me to do is not for me to try to fix my car myself. It's the best thing for me to do is to take it to the shop and give a guy $1,000 or whatever and have him use his expertise to go inside the car. Do you understand? So to some extent, the inner workings of a corporation are like that car. And I think that a lot of people teach stock analysis in the wrong way. That's my 2 cents. But if you want to understand stocks, believe me, we got 7 years of material, lectures, curriculum, probably 2,000 lectures on it right now that I've done since 2015, and it's all available to you. And you can just go through them. And I guarantee when you're done, you'll know more about stocks than 99% of the population. Okay. So I'm going to go. Sandra's asking, what are the days and times and durations of the bi-weekly coaching calls? They tend to be Thursday nights at 8 p.m., but it's not every single Thursday and it's not always at 8. Sometimes my schedule kind of, I reach out and I'll let you guys know what the time is. There is a schedule inside. If you log in at Dr. Boyce Prime, you will find a schedule for the next Prime meetings, and we do Prime Q&As. Every 6 weeks, we do something called Prime 101, which is Prime for beginners, where we'll just do a beginner session and where you can hit the reset button, or if you can get up to speed. So we do a lot of these things to make sure that you're able to understand everything that's going on. So let me give the information one more time before we go. How long will I be in Charlotte for the Power Networking Conference? I'll be here for till tomorrow, basically, and then I got to go on another trip. But I'll be here every morning with you guys, and the days I can't make it, you'll get a text message. So really quickly, if you'd like to get that special offer that I mentioned, just go to drboyceprime.com. There is a monthly option and there is also an annual option. The discount's quite substantial. I think you're going to like it, and I know you're going to love the program. You can instantly get started, start coming to the Prime meetings, and really start applying some of these strategies right away and generating income today if you wanted to. So have a good day, everybody. Thank you guys for allowing me to share this with you. Now I get to go and talk to the people at the Power Networking Conference in confidence, knowing the areas that I have to tighten up and the areas where everything's smooth. And we're going to meet tomorrow morning again for financial consciousness training. So have a good day, everybody. God bless you.